guys. Hope you're having a fabulous day. Today we're going to review our solid shapes. And remember, our shapes that we've been talking about are solid because you can see all the way around them. And yesterday we talked about the names of those shapes. The first one that I want to bring up is this shape. Remember what this one's called? We can see all the way around it. That's called a sphere. Then our next one, that one was called a cylinder. Then we have this one. It's called a cube. And then our last one, that's called a cone. Well, boys and girls, today we're going to talk more about those solid shapes, and we're going to think of different ways we can put those solid shapes into categories. So when we put things into categories, we put them in separate groups. So as I am holding up each shape, I want you to think about it. We're going to talk about different things and think, how could I sort these shapes? Here we go. First one, look at this sphere. Now, as you look at this sphere, what do you notice about it? We talked about it a little bit yesterday. We said that the sphere is definitely all round. It has all curvy sides, right? Is there any flat parts on that sphere? No, I don't see any flat parts. When I put it down, move it around, it rolls, doesn't it? Yeah, so there's no flat parts and it rolls, doesn't it? There's no corners, there's no edges. So this sphere is just like a ball, isn't it? Let's look at another one. Look at the cone. What do you notice about the cone? When I put the cone down flat, like this, I notice that it can sit there and it won't move unless I move it. But if I just put it down flat, it sits there. Well, boys and girls, when a shape, a solid shape, has a flat part that you can sit and it won't move without you moving it, that flat part is called a face. This right here is the cone's face. It's the flat part. So on this cone, I only see one face. What shape do you notice the face is in? It's a circle, isn't it? Yeah, it has got round sides, all curvy lines. So the cone has one face. How about points? Yeah, it has one point, doesn't it? And if I put the cone down on the ground or in my hand, it rolls, doesn't it? Yeah. All right, let's look at the next one. The cylinder. What do you notice about the cylinder? Does it roll? Well, when I have it in my hand, it rolls. What do you notice? Does it have any flat faces? There's one right there. And it also is a circle flat face. So there's one flat face. And then there's another flat face. Wow. I don't see where it has any corners, but I do see that it has round edges on both sides. Let's look at the next one. Look at this one. This is called a cube. And when I put the cube on my hand like this, it's got a lot of flat faces. And the only way the cube is going to roll is if I push it. I have to push it to roll it. So it doesn't roll without my help. How many faces do you think this one has? Well, there's a lot of them. So I'm going to put stickers on each face so that we don't lose track of how many we have. So I'm going to put little smiley faces on each face. And you guys count with me. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, boys and girls, the cube has 6 faces. That's a lot of faces, isn't it? Now, I said before, a face is the flat part. What shape is the cube's face in? Remember, we said that's a special kind of rectangle that has all equal sides. Well, you're right, it's called a square. The cube has 6 square faces, and it has a bunch of corners on it too. Let's count the corners. Remember, corners are where 2 edges meet. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the cube has 8 corners. And the edges, the sides, it has a bunch of edges right here. Look at all of those edges. Whole bunch of them. Yeah. All right, let's look at the sphere again. Now the sphere, it doesn't have any flat faces, does it? Because when I put it down, it rolls everywhere. So there's no flat faces on a sphere. All right, so we've gone over all of these shapes, these solid shapes. Now I want you to think, could we put these into different groups? What kind of groups could we put them in? Well, when I was thinking about it, I was thinking we could put these into groups of shapes that roll and groups of shapes that don't roll. So I'm going to turn the screen over so that you can watch me sort these and you can help me along the way. I'm going to move me over here so you can see the screen. All right. So we have our cube here. And remember, we said that the cube would not roll. When we put it down, I would have to move it to roll it. Now, the cylinder right here, I said if I put it on its side, it could roll. So we'll put this one right here. These are the ones that, these are the ones that can roll, and these are the ones that cannot roll. Well, now we have the sphere. The sphere can roll. When I put it on the table, it's rolling right there. So there's another one that can roll. And then the cone, when I put it on its face, it doesn't roll. But if I put it on its side, like this, it can roll. So that's one way we could sort those shapes. We could put them into the shapes that can roll and the shapes that cannot roll. And then another way I was thinking that we could sort them is we could put them into groups based on how many faces, if the solid shape has faces. So let's look at the cylinder again. Remember, it has 1, 2 faces. So that could be in the group that has faces. And then the cube, remember, we talked about it had 6 faces. So it also has faces. And then the cylinder, it has 1 face, so we could put that over there with that group too. And then the sphere, it doesn't have any flat faces, so it would be over there by itself again. So, boys and girls, that is all about our solid shapes today, putting them into different groups. Maybe at home, you could go find some of those solid shapes and put them into different groups based on how many faces they are, if they can roll, how many edges they have. And then, if you're able to, you have this piece of paper you can print out, and it wants you to circle the cylinders with red crayon. So you go and find all of the cylinders. Circle the cubes with yellow. So you'd go and find the cubes, circle those yellow. Circle the cones with green. So you'd circle those with a green crayon, and then circle the spheres with blue. If you're not able to print this out, boys and girls, no problem. Just go around your house and see if you can find some of these solid shapes and talk about how many faces they have, corners, how many edges, can they roll, can they not roll. All right, boys and girls, that's all I have for today's lesson. I hope you have a fabulous day. Bye-bye, friends.